We live in a plastic world, and plastics are forever chemicals. The bits get smaller, but they never really disappear. They just become too small for us to see with the naked eye. Microplastics are ubiquitous, and they're popping up in the food and water we drink. Studies have documented their presence in salt, seafood, and bottled water. Officially, authorities don't think there is a need to panic because the actual number of particles the average adult human is being exposed to is small. Current estimates put it around 600 particles per day. Now, the exact number will depend on your life situation. Living in an urban environment and eating processed foods will put you at the top end of the scale. But no worries. They're pooped out. Well, mostly. There are studies reporting microplastic sightings in the blood from regular blood donors, but it's a mission to find them. You're not pumping plastic just yet. Now, the microplastics are probably not enhancing your health, but at the same time, they're probably not causing a significant health problem. They're neutral, and at the doses commonly encountered, lab studies suggest there's very little evidence that they are a big problem. Of course, at high doses, the story changes. Zebrafish can suffer intestinal damage, and mice experience gut dysbiosis, that is, the microflora are altered, when the doses rise. It really is a case of the dose makes the poison. So, what would happen if instead of being exposed to 600 particles per day, you were exposed to 1.5 million every day, day in and day out? Add to this, you've got an immature digestive tract because you're a newbie at digesting food. It's good at handling nutrients packed in liquids, but it hasn't got a clue how to handle solids, let alone plastics. Could those millions of microplastic particles potentially be a problem? I'm willing to bet you're nodding your head. This sounds like an accident waiting to happen. Believe it or not, this is what is happening to the vast majority of the world's babies. This is what a team of researchers based in Ireland uncovered when they did a little digging. Here is a graph of their back-of-the-envelope calculations, estimating daily microparticle exposures of 12-month-old infants around the world. Aish. Join me for this episode of Better Body Chemistry TV as we catch up with the plastic generation. Better Body Chemistry TV is brought to you by Dr. Sandy, a scientist turned gremlin buster, helping you battle sugar gremlins, heifer lumps, and other health horribles through better body chemistry. Remember, small things can make a big difference to your health. So, how could this be happening? Well, modern babies are often fed using plastic bottles. The plastic most often used is polypropylene. Sometimes the bottles are filled with formula. Sometimes the bottles are filled with freshly pumped breast milk. It really doesn't matter what is in the bottle. It's the bottle that is the problem. Our team bought 10 brand new baby bottles from different manufacturers and suppliers and brought them back to the lab. Then they prepared them for a feed. For the record, they went out of their way to make sure the only plastics being detected originated from the bottle setup, carefully following the guidelines outlined by the World Health Organization for formula preparation. The bottles were soaked in water at 95 degrees Celsius for 5 minutes to cleanse and sterilize them. Next, they were air dried, and then water at 70 degrees Celsius was poured into them to constitute the formula. To finish the preparations, they were given a good 60-second shake to facilitate the formula mixing process. Once all of this had cooled, this was then fed to baby. In this case, baby was a gold-coated filter with a pore size of 0.8 micrometers. The number, size, and shape of the microparticles trapped by the filter was determined using spectroscopy and atomic force microscopy. All the products had microplastics. Each box represents the results from an individual bottle. The size distribution of the particles did vary. They were all small. To put it in perspective, the size of an E. coli, this is a common bacteria in your gut, is around 1 to 2 micrometers. Because of the filter they were using, the team could only detect particles 0.8 micrometers or bigger. Now, it's very likely that there would have been many particles smaller than this. These particles are referred to as nanoparticles rather than microparticles. What they were up to is anyone's guess. What is known is the particles often carry unwanted cargo. If you're curious what they looked like, here are some shots of the bigger and smaller particles as viewed by the AFM microscope. Research suggests that particle size influences what happens to the particles inside the body. For the record, generally speaking, the smaller a particle is, the more toxic it's likely to be. 1 micrometer particles have been shown to cause intestinal damage in zebrafish, and this research suggests there's no shortage of these in infants being bottle fed. Aish. Now, these are the results for once-off use of a brand new baby bottle. But that's not how baby bottles get used. They're used for multiple feeds every day. When the team simulated normal bottle use by sterilizing once a day and preparing formula 5 times per day, it was clear that the level of microparticles released oscillated. In this graph, each color reflects a different bottle. So what are the implications of this? The short answer is no one really knows. But all these microplastic particles doing the rounds in a very delicate, still developing gut can't be a good thing. Is this the reason so many kids have health issues? The team calculated that a newborn baby being bottle fed would be exposed to 430,000 particles in his or her first day on the planet. Ouch. Doesn't that just freak you out? And it's just the beginning. The microplastic count climbs from there. In Western countries, where breastfeeding rates are lower and breast pumping is common, exposure to microplastic peaks at the 5 to 6 month mark and then drops when baby is weaned. A slightly different pattern is seen in less developed countries. Fortunately, this is something that can be managed. Don't use plastic bottles. It is still possible to buy glass bottles. Granted, they are more expensive. If you're worried about breakage and money is no object, stainless steel bottles are also an option. Using these bottles, the microplastic deluge won't happen. So you'll be helping your little one's gut come online with minimum interference. A gift that has the potential to have lifetime benefits. Interested in discovering more ways to create better body chemistry or need a little help getting your body chemistry on track? Visit our website at www.betterbodychemistry.com. Browse our library. We have tons of resources for mom. Why not start with the B's to find science-related resources about birth, breastfeeding, and breast milk? The advice is simple to follow and based on real science, not hype. Know someone who's currently or going to be bottle feeding? Share this video with them so they know to opt out of using plastic bottles. BPA free or not, it's the plastic that's potentially the problem. And if this is your first time here, be sure to subscribe to our channel so you catch future episodes of Better Body Chemistry TV. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll see you next time. Remember, small things can make a big difference to your health.